All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to, I guess we would describe as a special edition of the It's in Queens podcast, which had been coming monthly and informing on all the wonderful things that people can do in the borough. Unfortunately, we don't need to tell anybody this, but because of the COVID crisis, just about everything's closed, and we're here to tell you what you can do to have some fun, what is open, and also ways that you can get involved if you want. My main man, Chris Donovan, is on the top of the screen because we are practicing social distancing. Is that correct? Is that what you would call this?
We're a responsible podcast.
Listen, we are a responsible podcast. Consider us the examples.
Example, and people follow.
Yes. Chris is he's in his home office in an undisclosed spot of Queens, and
I'll give you this much: it's the only town in Queens that's also a verb.
Ah, okay. It's a gerund. That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm, of course, in a nondescript bunker in the middle of an unidentified neighborhood.
That's right.
Yeah, we are keeping safe we don't want the COVID to find us, so we're not going to give too much information. But as we mentioned, just about everything is closed in terms of the culturals. And most of the restaurants are doing delivery. Some of our cultural organizations have put up online entertainment, and I'd like to talk about a little of that. The first, of course, is the Queens World Film Festival. We've talked about that before.
They pivoted pretty quickly because they were about to open, and I think a lot of the rules hadn't gone into effect, but I think they saw it coming, and they were able to pivot to an online platform. So I think you have the information on that, right?
I think, we've talked about it before. It's an annual thing. This is actually the 10th annual. They're showing more than 200 films from more than 300 different countries, including a lot that were done in Queens. People used to come from all over. Hopefully next year they'll come from all over to show their films. And it usually goes on at the Museum of the Moving Image, but now they've decided to screen the whole thing live with a few adaptations. They did their opening party with an actual broadcast last Thursday, and they showed films. They've broken everything down into thematic blocks. So there are a couple of LGBT blocks. There's animation, documentary, and whatever else, right, Chris?
That's right.
There's actually a Queens block where they're just going to show Queens films. And we should probably mention that these are... some of them are feature films that are almost 2 hours long. Some of them are a minute long.
That's right.
At that. So they're all arranged thematically. So they're into about 2.5 hour blocks. You can watch all of it at discover.tv.
Discover.tv, right?
Yeah, if you just go to discover.tv, you can type in Queens World Film Festival, and you can get to what they're showing. And actually, what they've already showed is still up there, and you can watch it.
That's right. You haven't missed anything, really. If you're able to log on and sort of become a member today, anything that's already run is on there, and anything that's going to run will be placed on there as it comes. And it couldn't be a better way to sort of support this effort. Still keep up with your protocols of social distancing and.
Some people, people make films and they submit them to festivals looking to win awards and also, get coverage in the press. And so a lot of people, this is the film festival that they chose.
This is a culmination of a year, 2 years, maybe 10 years worth of work, and it would be a shame for it to go without being seen or heard.
Exactly. Along those lines, Queens County Farm Museum is actually, because so much of it is outdoors, they haven't officially canceled some of their stuff, but they now have something called Barn Cam. Barn Cam, that's hashtag Barn Cam.
Hashtag Barn Cam.
Every day at 4:00, they will take you live to the farm. where you'll be able to actually talk to the farmers. You'll be able to look at the goats. Spring, as we know, spring sprung. What was it, Saturday that spring, or the
Sunday.
21st or
Saturday,
21st?
yeah, Saturday 21st.
So
right,
it's now spring on the farm, and so the farmers are going to be doing their seeding and their everything that they do, the clearing out of the brush and making the lines in the dirt. And you know farming better than I do, Chris. What else do they do?
I'm an old farmer. They churn butter.
Yeah,
right?
they churn butter. No, but you'll be able to see. They have llamas and they have chickens and they have goats. You can see them all, and the farmers will actually talk about the different animals and what different plants that or crops that they're growing, and they'll give you some history because it is a historic farm. It is the oldest operating farm in New York City, and it dates back to, I believe, I would say 87. Would you say 87, Chris?
I'm going to go with 87.
87. It has a historical farmhouse there, and it is a full working farm. They actually have a vineyard and they make wine.
That all is true, for sure.
That all is true. So that's Barn Cam, and you can get to that through any of Queens County Farm Museum's social media. Every day at 4, you can get you can taste the great outdoors while sitting in the great indoors.
That's right. Well, I remember one of the most viral things was a camera that was placed in a barn, I believe, and we're waiting for, was it a horse to be born? Because I just remember that was like the first viral thing that ever happened. The people were just sort of watching this animal waiting to give birth. So this is just
maybe that'll happen. Hey, maybe there's some pregnant animals on the farm.
There you go. And then you know what? Honestly, after watching every single show on your Netflix or your Hulu, it'd be nice to see something actually that doesn't have
something
a plot.
live that doesn't. Yeah. As of right now, I think the Queens Farm is not canceled. They have a lot. They're busy in the spring. They have the sheep shearing day. They have a children's festival, and I think that stuff has not been canceled yet. They're gonna look on April 1st. They're gonna try and decide then what they're gonna do.
Yeah, we're all learning here, so we're all trying to figure things out, and hopefully they're gonna if everything goes right, then maybe can get some of the things back into the schedule.
While we're on the subject, please go follow us on Twitter at It's in Queens, because we're putting all this stuff up at It's in Queens on Twitter.
Right.
The historical,
You're a great resource for everything Queens, everything that's open, any ways people can help. You got the entrepreneur space, right? You guys are doing deliveries out of there, right?
Yep, I have that on my list. I wanted to mention that the Astoria Historical Society has a sort of a virtual tour through their old historical photos, which is kind of fun. And Titan Theater Company, which is, based in Woodside, but they are the in-house artists at Queen's Theater. All of their Shakespeare is canceled, obviously, but they are going online. So if you go to Titan Theater, you can follow. They have actual plays and readings of Shakespeare. They have talkbacks that they can do live. They have a guide, a way to help people if they want to teach Shakespeare. So you still can see live Shakespeare from your Queens-based computer. It doesn't have to be in Queens, but it will be Queens artists.
It will be Queens-based artists, that's right.
Yeah.
Support.
Now, the e-space, this is something that, so I work for the Queens Economic Development Corporation, and we run the Entrepreneur Space, which is a very large food and business incubator. Just imagine space so big you can have 4 teams working at the same time with all of these huge walk-in freezers and huge stoves. Yeah, stoves.
Yeah, stoves.
So we starting tomorrow, the 24th, you can call in and order all kinds of food, and they will deliver it within a 10-block radius, which is basically just, if you know where Museum of the Moving Images is, the 10-block radius around there. It's basically Long Island City, Court Square, Northern Boulevard, and Kaufman Astoria Arts District. And the hope is that it'll take fire and we'll be able to have delivery to further places.
Yeah, right.
But there are a few clients in there who are making packaged products that you can order, and they'll be doing it during the whole time. They obviously, always the entrepreneur space has to be clean because of regulations and thing. Right now, they're being extra special careful. And there are a bunch of different, you can get hot foods, like there's a chicken tortilla soup and those kind of things, but there are also a lot of packaged products, including breads, chocolate, and things like that. And it'd be a great time to support.
This is the call. This is the call for everybody who wanted to support a local business, who wanted to keep their money local. This is the perfect place to do that.
Everything there is at the. It's in Queens. It's also at the Entrepreneur Space website. If you Googled Entrepreneur Space and Queens Economic Development Corporation, you would find it. So, Chris, Queens Chamber of Commerce. We've been working with the Queens Chamber of Commerce, and we have a pretty thorough list of the restaurants in Queens that are doing pickup and delivery.
Still operating, right?
Still operating, and I've talked to a couple of them, and a lot of them are hurting. I mean, this just doesn't count. I mean, these people, their Friday nights literally they make a couple $1,000s every Friday nights, and that's just taken away from them. So,
well, think about when this shutdown came, a couple of days right before St. Patrick's Day, and not to bleed into any stereotypes, but it's a very large drinking day.
It's the biggest
any
day
bar,
for most bars.
Anybody who's ever worked at a bar knows that fortunes are made on St. Patrick's Day.
You were a bartender for a while.
I was a bartender for a long time, and I really enjoy it. I miss it, and I feel bad for the people who are in that industry who rely on tips and who, love to be social. That's why you're there. There's nobody who works in the restaurant business who doesn't like to see people and interact. It's a different job every day. It's a really fun place to work if you enjoy that type of thing. And these folks who do that are really personable, and I'm sure they're missing not only their colleagues, but their regular customers. And so anyway, my point is that, they close right before St. Patrick's Day. So any way we can boost them, any way we can help them out, I think is a job well done on our part.
Sure. Referring to the Queens Chamber, which you can get at the Queens Chamber of Commerce's website, some of these are open for pickup and delivery, but a lot of them are throwing in discounts to entice people to shop. For example, Marbella, which is the tapas bar in Bayside,
delicious.
In Bayside. Yeah, you go there.
Yeah, there.
They're doing 25% off. They have some specials, and some of them are 25% off, and they're giving you 40% off on a bottle of wine. Senso Unico is giving you 20% off on that. Senso Unico is a new good Italian restaurant in Sunnyside. So a lot of these people, some are giving 10% off the top, and people throwing in other sweeteners. But even if they're not, it's still worth it's worth it for.
Also notice some restaurants are doing is noticing that the supermarkets are out of some meats and some things. They're just selling the meat straight up. If you need a pound of roast beef or pound of chopped meat, you can go right to a restaurant. I know there's even some restaurants that are offering paper goods, packages of knives and
toilet
forks
paper?
and napkins. Toilet paper, I was going to say too, but it's true. I know Fillmore's over in Fresh Meadows is doing, they're doing some of their paper goods. So if you don't find it at the store, find it at the restaurant.
Yeah. It's also some of the bars are also doing pickup and delivery on drinks. I know
I did do that for St. Patrick's Day.
You ordered a drink?
Yeah, they had One Station Plaza had
OSP
had corned beef and cabbage for $2, and an 8-pack of Guinness under $50, which I took it. Yeah, it was good. Food was delicious, and the Guinness was cold.
The wine room of Forest Hills, I know, is giving 10% off, and they sell all kinds, every alcohol you can imagine.
Yeah.
The other thing is that there are a few relief agencies. I know that, for example, the Greater Flushing Chamber of Commerce is doing what they can to deliver meals, especially to homebound elderly.
They're doing a very good job of it.
And other at-risk populations. I had a conversation today with someone in Long Island City who found an organization called LIC Relief, and you can just find it LIC Relief on all websites. They now have 80 volunteers, and they are accepting money, accepting food donations, dry goods, perishable items, pasta and peanut butter and whatnot. And they've been giving it out to different people who are homebound, specifically in Queensbridge and Ravenswood housing projects.
There's Astoria too, I believe. Astoria Strong, is it? Is that?
It's Astoria something, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I know they're doing some good work as well. So I know Queens people pick up the baton and run with it. So
So in the case that you wanted to do some volunteer hours or donate some money, the LIC Relief Queens Greater Flushing Chamber of Commerce. And what I actually have done a little bit is some places like Near's Tavern.
Yes.
They're selling gift certificates. So you can pay now, buy a gift certificate, send it to someone else. You can do it all online, send it to a friend online, a $50 or whatever gift certificate, so that the Nears makes the money now. And then the person can go and have the meal. They can redeem the certificate whenever they want.
That's a great idea.
It's worth mentioning it for Nears especially because
that's right.
I drive Chris crazy with this, but Nears is the oldest bar in the entire United States that has continuously operated in the same spot. Which is to say there are other bars that are older in Boston and Connecticut and even Manhattan, but they moved, closed down during Prohibition, had a fire or whatever. They didn't continuously operate in the same spot. Now, Nears has been through all that. Nears made it through Prohibition without closing, and made it through 9/11 without closing. We can't let coronavirus make it close, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep them open.
Yeah. So, Chris, I last night, my family and we went on a walk. We drove to Rockaways and went on a walk on the beach. Very nice. But afterwards, we did the delivery at Thai Rock, which is the Thai restaurant over there. We had great food. Have you been ordering out? What have you been doing?
Yeah, so we luckily we're very close to Flushing Meadow Park, and that's sort of how we're getting out and about. And it's a very, very large park with not too many people in it, so it's easy to sort of stay safe and stay away from everybody else. And then as far as food, we have some food in house, but we've been doing a lot of ordering because for some reason, even though you're home all day, the last thing you want to do is cook. But also the first thing you want to do is also support the local restaurant. So we've done sort of a round robin of hitting different places.
I hate to admit it.
The best part of living in Queens is you can have something different every day.
Yeah,
that's true. Everything from Greek to Spain, Spanish to Italian to
Chinese,
corned beef and cabbage. We had Thai. Okay. We've hit the world.
I hate to admit it, but I actually did a delivery pickup thing at the Burger King in Sunnyside the other day.
Liam Donovan would have been happy.
It was an Impossible Burger. I was like, you know what, I'm going to get an Impossible Burger. But I've been eating around on a lot of pizza. Saks Place, which is in Astoria, they have a great burger. They have these platters for $44 where you load up on a lot of food. We could go on forever. But so, Chris, how you hanging in there?
I am. We're just we're lucky enough to be able to work from home, both myself and my wife, and we're able to get my son home. Basically homeschooled at this point. And the Department of Education sent over all their layout of the week of lesson plans today, so he'll be up and running as of today. He's not happy about it, but he's going to be attending school every day. So listen, you do what you can, you do your best. I feel for the people who have been sort of laid off or feeling the pinch of this right now, and you try to do your best for whoever you can, and follow the protocols though. Stay home, stay away from each other, right? Today I've been
upset about this, but today I kind of got this feeling that we're going to bounce back from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, I don't usually plug my workplace, but the Daily News also has a place where restaurants can populate their own sort of listing if they want to, and it'll be on the Daily News website. I say that because it's going to it gets every day since this happened. They took down the paywall for the coronavirus information, and the amount of impressions per day are mind-boggling. We're getting millions and millions of reviews and stuff like that. So if you want your stuff out there and be seen, make sure you get over there. I'll share out a link later on.
Okay. I think that's all. Just remember, it's in Queens. Just follow everything on It's in Queens, and please,
Yeah, if you have your own resources, you see something happening in the borough, let us know, and we'll get it out to the masses.
And please spend your money in here. This is tough time, but we got to get through this. We got to get through it together.
Absolutely. Right? I think this is a great idea. Thanks for calling this podcast together.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks. Thank you for watching this podcast. And I hope to see you doing pickups around the borough now. And I hope to see you around the borough in a couple of weeks when this passes. All right.
All right. Cool deal.
All right. Bye, Chris.